Buckle up, everybody, because today we are going deep into the cloud forests of Central America.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about a bird.
Okay.
It's pretty special.
It's more than special.
More than special.
It's iconic.
Yeah, iconic. I like that.
It's revered.
Okay. All right. It is revered.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Resplendent Quetzal.
And we have a great essay here to guide us through.
Yes, we do. The Resplendent Quetzal.
Yeah.
Jewel of the cloud forest.
Perfect title. Really gets at it.
It really does. Now, before we get too far,
Okay.
I mean, when you hear the name Quetzal, what do you think of? What pops into your mind?
Well, I mean, you can't not think about those colors.
Oh, the colors.
Yeah, the iridescent.
That's what makes them so special.
I mean, we're talking greens and blues and reds.
And this isn't just any old color.
No. This is special. This is structural coloration.
Okay, I gotta admit.
Yeah.
Structural coloration. I'm not a scientist.
Well, think of it like this.
Okay.
Light hits a prism, splits into a rainbow, right?
Yeah.
The feathers of a quetzal.
Yeah.
They act like those prisms.
Wow.
So you get this incredible, shimmering color.
So it's more than just a pigment.
Way more.
It's the way the light
interacts with the structure of the feathers.
That's incredible. Okay, now I've got to ask, is it both males and females that have this incredible plumage?
It's really the males that take center stage here.
Okay, so the males are the show-offs.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine this.
Yeah.
You're in the cloud forest.
Okay, yeah.
Everything's kind of, muted greens and grays. And suddenly, bam! This flash of iridescent color.
It's got to be a sight to see.
They're basically saying, hey, look at me. I'm the healthiest, strongest male around. Let's make some babies.
So they're advertising themselves. I get it. But what about the females? Are they just kind of, plain Janes?
Well, plain isn't the right word. They're still beautiful with their green and gray plumage.
Okay, more.
Exactly. Think about it. They're the ones nesting, incubating eggs.
They need to blend in.
Right. It's all about survival. Camouflage is key for them.
Makes total sense. Now, I'm picturing these cloud forests.
Yeah.
Dense, lush, maybe a bit misty.
Oh, yeah.
Must be a pretty amazing place to see these birds in the wild.
Absolutely. Though not easy, I'll tell you that.
What do you mean?
Well, quetzals are notoriously elusive. They like to hang out high up in the canopy.
Oh, so it's not like you just walk into the forest and there they are.
No. It takes some effort. Plus, they nest in tree cavities, often old woodpecker holes.
So you're looking for a tiny, brightly colored bird way up high in a dense forest.
Exactly. It's like a real-life treasure hunt.
Well,
for bird watchers, it's like the holy grail.
So if you see one, you know you've earned it.
You've earned it. You've been patient. You've been quiet.
You've been lucky.
You've been lucky. You got to have a bit of luck on your side, too.
Okay, now this essay mentions that quetzals aren't just fruit eaters, right?
Oh, they have a surprisingly diverse diet.
Fill us in. What are they snacking on up there in the trees?
Well, wild avocados are a big favorite. Isn't that cute?
Oh, that's cute.
But they don't stop there. Insects, small amphibians, even the occasional lizard.
Wow. So they're pretty opportunistic.
Absolutely. They're not picky eaters, which helps them survive in these diverse cloud forest environments.
And that diverse diet probably plays a pretty important role in the whole ecosystem, right?
Oh, you bet. Especially when it comes to seed dispersal. Think about
Right.
it. They gobble up all these fruits,
Right.
digest the flesh, but the seeds, those pass right through.
And end up all over the forest.
Exactly. They're like little flying gardeners spreading seeds far and wide, helping to regenerate all sorts of plant species.
So it's not just about what they eat, it's how they contribute to the whole cycle of life in the forest.
That's the beauty of it. They're a keystone species, meaning their presence has a ripple effect on the entire ecosystem.
Okay, now this is where things get really interesting for me. This essay talks about the Quetzal's connection to ancient civilizations, like the Mayans and Aztecs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to be a pretty bird, but these cultures saw something more.
Oh, way more. To them, the Quetzal was practically divine.
Divine, like a god.
Well, their god, Quetzalcoatl.
Right, the feathered serpent.
Exactly. Think about it. Back then, nature was everything.
Yeah.
And here's this bird living high in the mystical cloud forests.
Right.
With colors like you've never seen before.
Yeah, it's easy to see how they'd make that connection.
Absolutely. It's like a living, breathing embodiment of the divine.
And their feathers. They were prized possessions, weren't they? More valuable than gold, this essay says.
Oh, absolutely. And not just for any old reason.
What do you mean?
Well, rulers and priests, they would adorn themselves with Quetzal feathers.
Oh, like in their headdresses and clothing.
Exactly. They were connecting themselves to Quetzalcoatl, symbolizing creation, wisdom, even the sky itself.
So it was a way of showing power.
Absolutely. A way of saying, hey, I have a direct link to the gods.
It's fascinating how the Quetzal went from this beautiful bird to this incredibly powerful, almost spiritual symbol.
Right.
And that symbolism, it hasn't really faded over time, has it?
Not at all. Just look at Guatemala.
Oh, yeah. The Quetzal is practically their national emblem.
It's on their flag, their coat of arms. Even their currency is named the Quetzal.
That's amazing. And there's that legend, too, right? About how the Quetzal would rather die than be caged.
Oh, yeah. It symbolizes freedom, the indomitable spirit.
And there's some truth to that, isn't there? I mean, attempts to keep them in captivity.
Oh, it rarely ends well.
Because they're just so tied to their wild existence.
Exactly. The stress of confinement often leads to
death.
Yeah, death. It's a tragic reminder that some creatures just can't thrive outside their natural habitat.
It is. And it brings up a more serious note. This essay mentions that the Quetzal is currently classified as near threatened.
Yeah, it's a real concern.
What are the biggest threats they're facing today?
Well, habitat loss is a huge one.
Of course, the cloud forests.
Yes, they're being cleared for agriculture, logging, you name it.
And that means the Quetzals lose their homes, their food sources.
And their breeding grounds. It's not just about losing trees, it's about fragmenting the forest.
Fragmentation, you mean like breaking it up into smaller and smaller patches?
Exactly. It isolates populations.
Really?
Makes it harder to find mates, establish territories.
It's like their world is shrinking, even if there's still pockets of forest left.
That's a good way to put it. And then you add climate change on top of all that.
Oh, yeah, I was just thinking about that. How does that affect them?
Well, cloud forests are incredibly delicate ecosystems.
Right.
They depend on a very specific balance of temperature and moisture.
Mm-hmm.
And as climate change disrupts those patterns, it can have a cascading effect on the whole ecosystem. The plants, the insects, the quetzals, everything is interconnected.
It's a sobering thought.
Yeah.
But this essay did mention some glimmers of hope.
Oh, there's always hope.
Like what? What's being done to protect them?
Well, in places like Costa Rica and Guatemala,
Yeah.
there are some amazing conservation efforts underway.
Tell us more.
They're focused on protecting existing cloud forests,
Okay.
promoting sustainable land use practices, educating local communities.
Right. Get everyone involved.
Exactly. And ecotourism is playing a big role too.
Ecotourism, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But isn't there a risk that too much tourism could harm the very environment we're trying to protect?
That's a valid concern. It's all about finding the right balance.
Right.
You know, managing visitor numbers, promoting responsible behavior, making sure the benefits go back to the local communities.
So in a way, the Quetzal becomes like an ambassador, not just for its own species, but for the entire cloud forest ecosystem.
Exactly. By protecting the Quetzal, we're protecting a whole web of life.
That's a powerful thought.
Yeah.
Well, I think after this deep dive, we can all agree that the Resplendent Quetzal, yes, it's so much more than just a pretty bird.
It really is.
It's a cultural icon.
A symbol of freedom.
An ecological champion.
And a reminder that we have a responsibility to protect these incredible ecosystems.
I think that's a perfect place to leave it.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing everything we've learned today about the Quetzal, about its connection to freedom, its vulnerability, it really makes you think.
It does.
What role do we each play in ensuring its survival?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is. And it's not just about the Quetzal, is it?
It's about all the interconnected species.
It's about the future of these amazing cloud forests.
It's about our planet.
It really is. So for everyone listening out there,
I
hope this deep dive has inspired you to learn more.
To get involved.
To appreciate the beauty and fragility of nature.
And to do your part in protecting it.
Absolutely. So thank you for joining us on this journey.
Thanks for having me.
And until next time.
Keep looking up.
Keep looking up.
You never know what wonders you might find.
That's right.